Before dawn, as the world began to wake, the serene morning light washed over the forest where Buddha and his disciples sat in meditation. The air was filled with purity, and only the soft rustling of leaves disturbed the silence. When Buddha finished his meditation, he slowly opened his eyes, took a deep breath, and gazed at his disciples with profound compassion. This daily moment of receiving Buddha's teachings was precious to the disciples, a source of spiritual strength. On that day, Buddha held silence a little longer than usual, and the disciples sensed that a significant teaching awaited. Eventually, he began to speak. "Today, let us discuss the concept of non-attachment." The words resonated gently through the forest, and each disciple leaned forward, listening intently. Non-attachment was already a familiar teaching, but the disciples knew each lesson held new meanings and insights. Our world, Buddha explained, may seem rich, filled with endless things to desire. Yet, does that abundance bring true peace? Buddha's gaze grew distant, and he continued, "When we become bound by desire and seek more than we need, our hearts become burdened and restless. But if we learn to discern what we truly need and limit ourselves to that, our hearts become light, and we find freedom." The disciples nodded, appreciating the depth of Buddha's words. Buddha's teachings reminded them of the path to liberation from both material and inner desires, a reminder of the profound nature of simplicity. One disciple, Ananda, spoke, "Teacher, I understand the importance of non-attachment. However, in this world, we need various things to live: food, shelter, and at times, the connection with others. How should we balance the desire to acquire these things with the principle of simplicity?" Ananda's question resonated with the other disciples. How to distinguish between genuine needs and excessive desires was indeed a common challenge in their pursuit of simplicity. Buddha smiled warmly as he replied, "Non-attachment does not mean abandoning everything, but cultivating the insight to discern what is truly essential and what is not." His teaching was always grounded in practical life, never merely abstract theory. Buddha continued, "Indeed, there are necessities: food, a place to stay, and quiet time to center the mind. To reject them is unnecessary. But when the desire for these grows excessive, it becomes attachment, and that attachment disrupts inner peace." Buddha's words carried on the wind, deeply resonating with each disciple. They began silently reflecting on their lives, exploring what they could release from their physical and mental attachments. They realized that simplicity was not just reducing possessions but lightening the inner burden. Pointing to the trees, Buddha said, "Look at this forest. Each tree takes only what it needs, no more. Sunlight and rain are enough. Humans, too, require little to feel satisfied at heart." As the disciples took in his words, the atmosphere grew even more serene, further purifying their hearts. Each disciple's expression revealed a moment of self-reflection and recognition of their desires and attachments. Buddha's teachings were not mere theory, they were directly applicable to their practices and daily lives. After a pause, Buddha picked up a small stone from the ground. "Look at this stone," he said. "It does not seek anything. It simply exists. But if it were heavy, carrying it would be difficult. Our hearts are the same. When burdened by heavy attachments, we struggle to move forward and suffer." The disciples observed the stone in silence, understanding that simplicity was not only reducing physical belongings, but lightening the mind's weight. Buddha then shared the story of a king who had everything yet always sought more wealth and power, extending his palace and amassing treasures, but never feeling fulfilled. In the end, he lost everything in his suffering. The disciples quietly listened, recognizing that wealth, power, and fame did not truly satisfy the heart. One disciple asked, "How could the king have found peace? How could he have freed himself from attachment and embraced simplicity?" Buddha answered gently, "The king needed inner peace, not wealth. Had he looked at his desires, realized their emptiness, and let them go, he would have found simplicity." Continuing, Buddha asked his disciples, "Each of you may harbor desires and fears. But what do you truly need? Search within your hearts. When you find the answer, try letting go of all else. By doing so, your heart will naturally feel lighter, and simplicity will follow." The disciples meditated deeply, exploring which desires were unnecessary and driven by attachment. Their meditation time felt like eternity, peaceful and profound. The sounds of the forest's breeze and birds further stilled their hearts, uniting them with nature. Buddha observed them quietly, his presence a source of calm. When their meditation ended, the disciples opened their eyes, appearing calm and peaceful, having gained profound insights. Buddha resumed, "Once you achieve simplicity of heart, maintain that peace. It is more valuable than any treasure, and the source of life's true richness." The disciples bowed deeply, filled with gratitude. They had received more than mere words, they found a path to living more simply, yet more fully. In the evening, Buddha and his disciples walked to a nearby village, carrying his teachings in their hearts as the golden sunset bathed the fields. In the peaceful countryside, they pondered a way of life aligned with nature, each disciple reflecting on their individual journey. Soon, they arrived at the village, where a peaceful sense of harmony prevailed. Villagers greeted them warmly, eager for Buddha's teachings. At the gathering hall, villagers shared their struggles, seeking Buddha's wisdom to bring peace to their hearts. An elderly man spoke first, "Respected Buddha, our village is poor, yet we live cooperatively. However, at times, we compare ourselves to others and feel unhappy. How can we find peace despite having so little?" Buddha replied, "Instead of lamenting what is lacking, appreciate the richness within. Material wealth alone does not bring happiness. Comparing ourselves with others disturbs inner peace. By valuing and giving thanks for what is here now, we can cultivate a richness within." The elder nodded deeply, a sense of relief spreading across his face. The villagers, too, reflected on Buddha's words. A young mother then asked, "I care for my children and am often too busy to find calm or peace. Without time for myself, I feel worn out. How can I find simplicity and inner peace in my busy life?" Buddha met her gaze with kindness. Finding simplicity in a busy life is not easy, but creating an inner space of calm is possible. Through focusing on each action, living in the present moment brings a sense of peace. Buddha continued, "Often, our mental restlessness arises from being caught in thoughts of the future or past. Focusing on the present simplifies the mind, allowing us to release anxiety and attachment to past events. Living in the present is the essence of simplicity." In the village's humble lives, the villagers found methods to bring peace and richness within their daily lives. Buddha's teachings resonated, transforming their views on what brought joy and contentment. With gratitude, the villagers offered Buddha and his disciples food and provisions for their journey. Buddha expressed his thanks, saying, "Honor what you have here and now. This non-attachment will bring a rich life." As night settled, Buddha and his disciples departed, their hearts lightened and filled with new insights and determination to walk a path of simplicity and inner peace. The disciples continued reflecting on the journey, realizing that non-attachment not only meant reducing material desires, but also releasing attachments in their hearts. In silence, they walked through the forest, each heart imbued with new resolve and understanding. In their quiet progress, Buddha suddenly spoke. "Tonight, we have explored the value of simplicity. Non-attachment begins by releasing external possessions and grows to release internal attachments, desires, and expectations. Through simplicity, we find freedom and true richness." As Buddha finished speaking, his disciples understood that simplicity was not about poverty but a way to discover inner freedom. By letting go of unnecessary things, they would uncover what was truly important, gaining peace of heart. Buddha encouraged, "Find this peace within, for it is the greatest treasure." Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.